day, fellow Jersey Nerds, and welcome to episode 60 of the Jersey Nerds podcast, powered by HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. I'm your host, Ryan. Today on the Nerdcast, we're going to be talking about Philadelphia and Pittsburgh's logos being revealed for the Stadium Series jersey, or Stadium Series game. We're also going to be talking about the 2019 NHL Draft logo, which we got to look at, and the Boston Bruins followed suit with the Winter Classic practice jerseys. And of course, on the Nerdcast, every week we have Fake or Authentic and Throwback Throwdown, and we want to get you guys involved anytime on Twitter at HockeyJC, or you can email us your thoughts on what we've been talking about, podcast at HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. And another staple of these podcasts, our fellow HJC writers joining us. This week, we have Tuesday's writer, Ben. Ben, what's going on?
Not much. Haven't been on one of these in a while, so glad to be back.
Yeah, we got a bit of a throwback crew this week. A lot of people hopping on, a lot of people available with school schedules, work schedules, all that changing around the holidays here. We also have Thursday's writer, Shawn, on. Shawn, what's going on?
Enjoying another delectable cranberry Sprite after, last week's review. Tonight's jersey, 2006-2007 Florida Panthers home jersey. That Navy one nobody really liked. But I have to admit, this is a comfortable SOB here. Don't know. I think CCM really picked up the comfort game. When Reebok replaced them on ice, they focus purely on the fans. So Fanatics, take note. You can crest your logos and still be baby soft.
Fanatics isn't taking note of anything. Going back to the cranberry Sprite, though, we're all waiting for our cases of 12 to come in. I believe we all asked Sprite to send in 12 cranberry Sprite for everyone, and we're still waiting. So Sprite, let's get on that. Our final guest on the show is Friday's writer, TC. It has been a while, TC.
Yes, indeed. The prodigal son has returned. Finally, we are scheduling on a night where I don't have work or class, and I shall never have class again.
Oh, it's a good feeling.
It's phenomenal. But yeah, so this is my first time podcasting as a college degree wielding Jersey nerd.
Well done.
And in the honor, thank you, I am wearing a lovely Buffalo Sabres Buffa-Slug crew neck sweatshirt circa 2008 that I picked up from a Salvation Army store for the grand total of $3.
That might be purchase of the year. Like, taking into consideration all the jersey purchases that we've talked about here at the beginning during our intros, this $3 kind of goodwill pickup here of the Buffa-Slug crew neck sweatshirt may be the best of them all. Well done on that pickup.
I think the saddest part is the striping that runs down the arms is better than the striping that they had on the actual jerseys.
Oh man, it is. It's not quite Adidas, but I mean, we got a navy stripe outlined and two white stripes outlined and two gold stripes running down the sleeves. So that's
it's simple. And it gets the job done.
Plus, it's a Buffa-Slug crew neck sweatshirt it's very 2008. It's very Buffa-Slug. That's worth a photo. And if you do that, I'll post it on all our social media because that's tremendous. That's a tremendous jersey sweatshirt. That's a tremendous piece of paraphernalia, and that's a tremendous word. And we're all here and ready to go. So let's get into it. So the top news from the week was the 2019 Stadium Series logos coming out for both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. I guess Pittsburgh went through the biggest changes here, but as seen as Philadelphia is the host, we will start with them first. They removed any outlines from their logo. They removed any hint of white. It is just the flying P with, I guess you could say, the puck in the middle. It's all black. This logo was presented on an orange background. So that leads us to speculate that it could be an orange jersey that the Flyers will wear. But just your initial thoughts when you saw this, Ben.
What? Oh, sorry, I fell asleep there. What were we talking about?
The always exciting Philadelphia Flyers Stadium Series logo.
Oh, yeah, the one where it just looks like the Philadelphia Flyers logo, except slightly discolored, so anyone who's not a nerd like us has to see them side by side to figure out what the differences are.
Great point. That is a solid point. Is this enough of a change to get people to buy the merchandise? Because isn't that the whole point of changing the logos and coming out with new jerseys for these games?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all about the almighty U.S. dollar.
That's so true. That's so true. Shawn, your thoughts when you saw this stripped down logo?
I think Adidas and Fanatics have been listening, because when we said that some concept ideas had just been overdone, they looked at the Flyers and said, "I got an idea." I think everyone has made this sort of Flyers Quakers sort of concept where you strip all the white off the Flyers logo and put it on sort of an orange version of the Islanders / Moose Jaw Warriors jersey. Like, come on.
Yeah, it is. It's stripped down definitely, and it'd be interesting to see which direction they go with jerseys wise. To me, this very much comes across as they were charged by the color by Adidas, and they didn't want to pay the extra, so both teams just went with, no, we're good with one color logo. TC, when you saw this logo, what were you thinking?
I was thinking it's very familiar to Philadelphians, as I am sure that there are at least 24 guys roaming around South Philly right now with this exact logo tattooed somewhere on their person because they could only afford one color, trading for 2 cheese wits and a pack of smokes.
Oh man, that's so true. That's so accurate. This thing, there's got to be something to the jerseys. I think I wrote that in the post on hockeyjerseyconcepts.com, but there has got to be something to the jerseys, or else this is going to be a very plain, just a big letdown for jersey nerds all over the place. Let's take a look at the Pittsburgh logo. This is also void of any white. It's a very gold logo. Big gold triangle in the back. The penguin is now exclusively black and gold. There is no white anywhere on this thing. Ben, again, your reaction when you saw the Penguins logo.
Oh man, I fell asleep again. Man, I should get more sleep at night.
That happens.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Again, we're sticking with the 2019 Stadium Series logos, which are they're electrifying.
The reason I fell asleep. Okay. There's nothing to this. Next.
Shawn, you share those sentiments?
Yeah, but I mean, I get my 2 hours of beauty sleep a night. So, what TC said about the Flyers logo in Philly, the Pittsburgh logo and Halifax applies here. I know a bunch of drunk guys who don't leave the bar until they've had at least 6 Keats, and they got this same crappy Penguins logo on there. Like, oh my gosh, like, okay, we get it. Pittsburgh, one team, it would be nice if you could have a different color scheme. I guess you all look the same, And here, I think it would look okay if you took the triangle away. But that big yellow triangle, I just look at it and I think the Steelers.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Like, I look at that and I go, oh, great, the Steelers. Yeah, there's some positive thinking. I think of, like, the worst NFL team. So thank you, Penguins, for reminding me of why your city sucks.
Oh, that makes me think that they're going to come up with some sort of Steelers hockey jersey. Like they're... Oh, that's a scary thought.
Well, if they do,
it'll actually be an Iowa hockey jersey. Ha! See that? I pulled in a football jersey nerd joke for all you dual sport listeners.
How dare you? This is hockeyjerseyconcepts.com.
What
were you thinking?
What happens when you take the NHL team away from man?
TC, what were you thinking of the logo here when you saw it?
I was thinking that someone made up the uniforms just regular Pittsburgh Penguins uniforms and used the wrong type of dye, so the gold just bled through and colored all the white in. And then they were too lazy to just get rid of that little triangle, because Shawn was right. It would look infinitely better if it was just the Penguin and his silhouette there. But the triangle just makes it bulky and clunky, and I don't like it.
Yeah, just the single color logos. Instantly, I'm thinking negatively about this game. The single color logos just make me think that it's almost like the logo should be screen printed on, or just heat press vinyl or plastic or something like that. The logos look really cheap, and we haven't even seen them on a jersey yet. And
then we're gonna make them metallic.
Oh man! Just add everything that has not worked with the Stadium Series jersey, and put them on these logos. I mean, I can't even decide which one's better. I don't think either of them are better. That's what we're gonna get to here. Who did it better, and what you would rate these changes? I mean, I'm looking at them right now in front of me, and I'm thinking they both get 2 out of 10. I guess the Flyers one applies better with these changes. I don't know, but I'm giving them both 2 out of 10. And just because I have to choose a winner, I'm saying Philadelphia's is better. I don't know about you, Ben.
I'm going to rate this one 3 Z's to symbolize how this puts me to sleep. If I had to go on my actual rating scale, this would be an F. Absolutely no reason for this. It's not different enough. These are not going to sell compared to the regular set. Really disappointed to see how these turned out.
If you had to pick a better one, we're holding you to it, and you absolutely have to pick a winner in this logo battle. Who did it better?
Well, if you look really closely and focus on it for a few seconds before falling asleep, you'll notice that the triangle in the Penguins logo is colored in, which I guess is something different with no outline. I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Thank you.
The Penguins by a struggle on that one. Shawn, just a rating for both these logos, and you have to choose someone who did it better.
I'll give them both a Transformers 4 out of 10. Because that's about as much effort I'm going to put into my rating scale as the teams put into these logos. That being said, I think we're going to get a Pirates Quakers throwback game. So it's like this is like a taking our medicine. This is the cod liver oil of Stadium Series games. It's like, all right, we need these jerseys out there. So here you go. So everybody can stop complaining that we've never done it. I guess Philadelphia does it better because the crossover, if that's what they're doing, would look a little better, I guess. Not by much, but I mean, maybe, you know what? If the Penguins busted out the Harding blue,
not going to happen. Not
going
to
to
happen.
You're right. Harding blue was one of those forbidden colors the U.S. government banned in the 70s.
The color was blackballed?
It was blackballed under the Nixon administration for promoting drug use.
Yeah.
TC, a rating for these logos and maybe who did it better?
I'm going to back you up with your 2s across the board because they're lazy paint bucket fills that are pretty played out. And I'm going to say Philly just because, honestly, it's a pretty simplistic logo as it is, so I think it can get away with this sort of monochromatic thing, whereas the Penguins, it's a little more intricate, and that yellow triangle just looks so stupid.
So collectively and reluctantly, we've decided that Philadelphia has the better logo, but I don't think better is the proper word. I guess Philadelphia still has the least terrible, yet both still terrible logo. So way to go, Philadelphia. We'll get a plaque made up for the Flyers and have that sent off to their head offices. Moving on to a little bit more logo news here. We had the 2019 Draft logo, which is going to be held in Vancouver, revealed over the past week. So this is a diamond-shaped logo. We are sticking with the draft templated logo. Green strip on the bottom that says Vancouver. In the bottom triangle, it simply says 2019. The upper portion of the triangle is comprised of mountains and then the Vancouver city skyline. This is a bit plain, but still comes off as somewhat professional. A little bit disappointing. I'm handing out a 6 here, but Shawn, we'll start with you and your thoughts of this logo.
You know, it seems to me that the NHL Draft logos come in waves. So from 1992 to 98, we had really nice logos. And then from 1998 till 2010 or 2009, we had kind of crappy ones. 2009, we had very simple ones. And then, as you said, the draft template. And, you know, if they kept doing what they did in the first 4 years, I'd probably be bored of them by now. But every year they seem to add something that makes that extends the life of this template. And it's a loose template. It's just that the script's the same. The mountains here and the skyline just continue to, you know, add something. The stars are a little more vibrant this year on the end of the script. It's a diamond shape. Like, it really pops well. I think this will be one of the last years we see Vancouver in blue and green when their regional rivals enter the league. Yeah, you know what? I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I like it. And, you know, I think that the NHL either needs to do something a lot simpler like they did in Montreal or just keep doing this because it's working.
All right, TC, what do you think about this draft logo for Vancouver 2019?
I don't hate it. I've always liked the blue and green color scheme. I think it's a great way to use the semi-template. Follows the draft font, the NHL logo front and center, the 3 stars. I think they did a decent job of working in the city. I'm glad you pointed out that was their skyline because I thought it was the Seattle Space Needle in there because I know fuck all about Vancouver. But yeah, it's a pretty decent looking logo. It fits well with what they've done in previous years. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5.
All right. Ben, what did you think about this logo?
I'm with the consensus here, although one thing I want to point out is I think it's underlooked just how spectacular the skyline of Vancouver looks against the mountains. I think this logo captures that in essence well. One thing I don't like about it is all the different shades of silver. I think it makes it more complex than it needs to be because all the buildings are in silhouette. Why do the mountain peaks need 3 different shades of gray? As for the template, you know, the NHL Draft, it is what you get. I think people like us will remember this for a week longer than everyone else, and I think everyone else will remember it for the next 5 minutes. Overall, I'll give this a C. It's not spectacular, but they did a good job for what they did with it.
So what does a C translate to? Because I know I think the grading system.
It's a 70.
It's a 70. Okay, so it's a 60 to 69 in Canada. So I'm going to convert Ben's C to a 7, but leave it officially as a C. And an average score here works out to 7.1 across the board. So what, a B minus? That works out to a B minus?
That would be a C minus in America.
C minus C?
Standards are higher.
Well, we just won a bunch of winners here in Canada, so B minus north of the border.
Everybody gets a trophy, eh?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Bunch of little whippersnappers with smiles on their face running around everywhere. But going back to the logo, a 7.1 rating. Save my ass and change it to a 7.1 average rating for this logo. And I mean, it is what it is. I guess that's a fair mark. But again, we'd love to hear what the readers think. This is your chance to jump in. Let us know by emailing us, podcast@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com, or you can let us know on Twitter @HockeyJC. We'd love to hear what everyone else's rating is of the 2019 NHL Draft logo. Let's move on to some jersey news that came out over the week, and this follows last week's news where the Chicago Blackhawks had a special set of practice jerseys for the Winter Classic. The Boston Bruins are also going to have a special set of practice jerseys for the Winter Classic. Unlike Chicago, who had 3 colors, Boston's only going to have 2 colors, which is kind of unfortunate because the black one would have looked awesome. But they're going to have a gold practice jersey and a white practice jersey, and the B logo on the front, just like the Hawks, is in Notre Dame gold. So it's quite an interesting look, especially on the yellow/gold jersey when you have an actual gold shade on the front. But TC, just your thoughts when you look at these jerseys.
Honestly, the white one isn't that bad. It's pretty bare. Just has the logo of the event on the shoulder, the gold B. It's fine. It does what it needs to do. But the fact that they kept the Notre Dame gold on top of a yellow jersey is atrocious. It just looks bad, and it looks like it's supposed to be the same color and just an outline of the B, but it's not, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, they should have just gone with a black jersey there. That's a really, really odd or a brown jersey even. The gold on a brown jersey, that would have looked pretty good. Ben, your thoughts on these 2 practice jerseys from the Bruins?
I think I'm sensing what's happening in Adidas here. I think there was some random Friday this summer at the Adidas office where the Stadium Series logos were designed at 4:50 on a Friday afternoon, and these were designed at 4:57. Slow news week when we're talking about practice jerseys. I really do not like this yellow jersey. The golds clash way too much. The white one is much better, but I don't know how much I want to go into critiquing a practice jersey here because I think 3 minutes in designing this is probably more than it needs.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they didn't have an exclusive one like Chicago did. Chicago used a completely different logo, had an exclusive jersey that was just for the players. So that's what kind of gave substance to the story. Whereas Boston has just come out with 2 different color practice jerseys, as you would expect here. And they've given the same logo treatment as Chicago has done, except Boston has used their straight up Winter Classic logo, which, I mean, you can't blame them for that. That's what you would use because that's the logo you're going to use for the game. Shawn, your thoughts on these practice jerseys?
Stop trying to make fashionable friggin' stop it. I don't like this idea. It's new and I don't like it. Stop putting effort into your practice jerseys. Take all this effort, all 5 minutes it took for you to think up of this, to sell some schmuck a jersey with 3 lines on the side of it and nothing else, and put that into your alternate designs. How about that? Like, come on. Who's gonna spend $120 on this crap? Like, you know what? I take back every positive thing I said about this last week. I hate it. It's dumb. Like no more. This is appealing to the lowest common denominator. Unique logo, good. Buy our expensive shirt.
Well, I was going to ask who did it better, Boston or Chicago, but I think it's very clear from our reviews here that Chicago did it much better. Boston has really brought up some negative thoughts here and some negative comments, but we do have to rate these jerseys. So, TC, lead us off with your rating.
These come in at a wonderfully low 1.7.
That is wonderfully low. That is. Ben, you got to rate these guys.
If they try to sell these in the market, it's an F. As practice jerseys, I'll give them an F because the 3 minutes they put in designing it were 2 more than they really should have spent.
All right, just so it registers on the scale, I'm giving them a 0.1. A 0.1 out of 10 on that from Ben. Shawn, what's your rating?
So, to give you an idea, Vegas Golden Knights are at absolute 0. You are below absolute 0 on this special Adidas practice. You finally made me look at Vegas and go, well, at least they're not the stylized practice jerseys that Adidas is going to try and sell us. You get nothing. You lose.
So Shawn
day.
Thanks, Wonka. Shawn has taken away that 0.1 that I've just given to these practice jerseys from Ben because they are awful. So that negates the 0.1. I'll be a little nicer to these. The yellow one is really terrible. The white one is decent. And for me, they average out to a 5. So that...
Boo! You're getting soft, old man.
So before I've even averaged this out, they've only have a total score amongst all of us of 6.7. Once I divide that by the 4 of us, it comes out to an average score of 1.675. These may be the lowest rated jerseys that we've ever rated on the Nerdcast. That is fantastic. Way to go, Boston. For a game that is commonly loved for its all of its looks, they have come out with a 1.675 practice jersey. Well done, Boston Bruins. Unbelievable. All right, well, that is the news that we have for this week. And now let's move on to our Throwback Throwdown. This week on Throwback Throwdown, we're going to go back and look at the draft logo. This is stemming from the Vancouver draft logo being revealed. But we are looking at 2 older draft logos. We are staying with the templated era of the past 10 years. We're looking at 2015, the draft logo from Florida, and it's going up against the 2017 draft logo from Chicago. Starting with Florida, this is a shield-based logo. Again, it's the templated draft word mark with the strip underneath that contains the city. On the bottom, we have some silver waves with the year, and on the top, we have some navy blue palm trees with the NHL logo. Moving over to the 2017 Chicago draft logo, this again sticks with the template. It was a little different because it celebrated the NHL's 100th year. The main shape of the logo is a red C for Chicago. Imagine that. We have the skyline of the city of Chicago in the bottom. And on the top, we have the banner from the NHL 100 logo. So let's start off with Ben and your review of the Florida draft logo from 2015.
This is a logo that just does not work well with the template. The lower part of that shield is waves, and they really were not put well on that part. And then the upper part, those palm trees are way too thin to occupy that space. So, I don't know, way too much negative space up top, poorly designed positive space in the bottom, and then the text in the middle obviously isn't enough to save this.
All right, let's go to Shawn and your thoughts on the Florida logo.
It reminds me of the palm tree and hockey stick patch, and that makes me happy after the logo I just looked at. So I'm very happy looking at this. It makes me feel nostalgic and warm inside, like a Jay Bouwmeester rookie card.
Wow. Okay. Spot on there, Shawn. Way to go. TC.
And that's his obscure reference of the week.
There it is. And that's actually pretty mainstream for Shawn's references.
I know, but for non-Shawn levels, that's fairly obscure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually gonna say I do agree with Ben. While I do like the palm trees up top, I think there is a little too much negative space. I think it would have been done better if the sort of sun outline were yellow and the rest of it were maybe red if they wanted to keep it in the Florida Panthers color scheme. I will say I do like the waves at the bottom. I think that's nice. And I also like that the top, it's not a perfect shield. It's got a bit of movement to it, which brings in the wave motif a little more, which ties into Florida. And I think they did that well. Palm trees, again, could stand to be a little bigger, but overall, it's a pretty solid design.
Okay, and let's move over to the Chicago logo from 2017 now. This, again, is the red logo with mostly a C shape. And we'll start with Ben and your thoughts on this.
I like the C. It's nice and subtle. I think the skyline would have been better if it was above the word draft. There's like a balance that I think that's off because that white and gray skyline is popping out so much more than the black NHL logo. The one thing I really hate about this is the text in the word draft. It has a really stupid beveling that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what it's trying to do. It certainly doesn't create a 3D effect because the shadows don't follow any kind of pattern. But it's overall, I like this. I think it gets the job done.
Let's go to you, Shawn.
I mean, I want to like this logo, but I mean, I see the C and I just think of the Cubbies, and all the gray just makes me think of that gangster from the Looney Tunes. Like, I'm just expecting Bettman to go out there and be like, listen here, see, we got the draft here, see, and we're going to draft lots of players, see, but we doesn't need anybody messing up the draft, see?
That was a bit Irish, plus gangster, plus I guess Bettman was in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's what he kind of sounded like when that. I can't remember his name. I think it was like Rocky or something. The friggin' Looney Tunes gangster. Just look at all the gray and the red in Chicago, and it's like, well, that's just what I think of. So yeah, makes me think of the Cubbies and Prohibition.
All right, I guess if that's what they were going for, that's fine. TC, Chicago Draft logo.
I will echo Ben here on the subtlety of the C. In fact, it was so subtle that I legitimately did not recognize that that's what they were going for until you pointed it out. I thought it was just a roundel that got cut off by the text. I'm not a big fan. I see what they were going for with the 100-year banner. I don't think it looks that good. I like that they pulled in the stars from the Chicago flag and used that rather than the more traditional stars along the bottom. The skyline at the bottom, yeah, sure, fine. But then right there, smack in the middle of it, we have a boat. We're on a lake. We have a boat. Because, you know, when I think Chicago, I think sailing.
It kind of reminds me of if Bob Ross was designing the logo.
We're just gonna stick that's there are no accidents, just happy little coincidences.
Got a little lake here, and you can put whatever you want. Now I'm going to put a sailboat. You can put whatever you want. Your happy little lake here. It's your draft logo.
That can be our little secret.
Oh man, now I want Bob Ross, if he was still alive, to design a draft logo and walk us all through it. That would be the most fantastic thing ever. It is time to pick a winner, though. We got the 2015 Florida draft logo against the 2017 Chicago draft logo. Ben, you're on the clock first. Who's your winner?
I'll take Chicago. Florida just has way too many problems with it.
Shawn, you want to follow that up?
I'm going to follow it up with the vote for Florida. Again, I just look at it. Just makes me happy. Just makes me think of palm trees and hockey sticks in a simpler time when the Florida Panthers' best player was Stephen Weiss. And if any Red Wings fans out there remember when you spent money on him, it's best you don't.
And we'll go to TC. Who do you have here?
I've actually traded away my decision to BPO for future considerations.
Damn fence sitters.
No. In all honesty, I'm going to give this one to Florida because I think it's more representative.
Yep.
Yeah. Of the city that it's supposed, or the region that it's supposed to be showcasing. And it seems to have a little more character to it. The other one in Chicago just seems a little bland for my liking.
Looking at this, I would also give my vote to the Florida one for the win there, Florida. But looking at the Chicago one, it looks like they tried to go with this kind of silver effect to celebrate the 100th anniversary. I don't think it was very effective. I think it makes the skyline look dirty, and then you have this silver lake, which is kind of awkward. Just for what could have been a very colorful logo, considering all the colors that are in the Hawks logo. I think that one just falls short. So I think Chicago's logo loses based on lack of or the potential that wasn't realized. And Florida's logo wins because Maybe they maxed out their potential there, except for the palm trees, which we all remarked were a little small. Let's move on to fake or authentic. Fake or authentic? Fake or authentic is part of the podcast where I've come up with 3 statements, but it is up to the guests to determine whether or not they are just like the jerseys around the National Hockey League arenas, fake or authentic. Here we go, fake or authentic. Number 1, the templated draft logos of the past 10 years have garnered better results than the previous 10 years. Shawn, fake or authentic?
100% authentic, to the point where I can say, again, that between 1998 and 2008, there was not a single good draft logo. The Montreal Draft in 2009 broke that, and every year since, especially I think my standout ones are 2010, 2015, 16, 18, and this year's are the best ones. They're really solid. I don't see a reason to change this, unless you want to go back to the awesome big block, rounded 1994 with the puck that's the world bursting out in the team colors. I mean, if you're going to do that again, go ahead. But just understand that realistically, you have 2 options for a good draft logo.
All right, TC, fake or authentic on this one?
100% authentic. Well, it is a little... I know some be against the fact that they're using a template. Each team and each area has found a way to sort of make it their own and make it unique. And teams have tried to do that in the past. But if you go back and look, the 04 draft logo with the Hurricanes is atrocious. The 03 with Nashville, they literally just slapped their logo next to it. And I think the best instance, just a head-to-head, if you look at the Florida draft logo that we just reviewed and compare it to the 2001 draft logo, which basically looks like someone went into Microsoft Word art and then slapped a sun on top of the first result that came up, you know, they at least tried, but they failed miserably to make a good-looking, unique logo.
All right, Ben, fake or authentic on this one?
I'm going to say authentic as well, but for different reasons. What I really like about the past 10 years is that, first and foremost, it's about the draft. You know, we have draft, big, bold letters, and then some kind of symbol around it, and that symbol has to do with the city. If you go back to the previous 10 years, most of them put the team or the location as like the main attraction, and then, oh yeah, there's going to be a draft here too. And that's why I like the past 10 years, is because it's very obviously a draft, and within that template, the designers have found a way to give a shout out almost to the location. So that's why I like the past 10 better.
All right, fake or authentic, number 2. I would prefer to receive a practice jersey that fits great for a Secret Santa gift, rather than an Adidas jersey that is 2 sizes too small. Shawn, fake or authentic?
Oh, you had to say small. If you said big, it's like, bro, just throw a sweater underneath.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, I got to go with the practice jersey, so I think that's authentic. I mean, as long as it's not a stylized, stupid one, one that they're going to charge you an extra $20 for.
No,
sure.
No. Let's say for Secret Santa you got that Boston Bruins yellow Winter Classic practice jersey, and it fits great. Would you prefer that over your favorite all-time jersey that is 2 sizes too small?
All right, so all-time favorite jersey. Okay, so let's think about it this way. Take my all-time favorite jersey. I'm an XL. Make it a medium. I'll take the medium. It'll still fit. You know what? I'm not... Please, get me my favorite jersey. Get me... I don't know what my favorite jersey this week is, but get me that in a medium. It'll still fit. I can't wear a sweater under it, and it'll have curves in areas where hockey jerseys shouldn't normally have curves. But it'll work.
Interesting choice. Okay, let's see what everyone else thinks. TC, fake or authentic, you'd prefer a practice jersey that fits great versus a jersey that is 2 sizes too small.
100% fake. Especially in the scenario you just put up where it's that atrociously ugly. Remind you, 1.67 jersey that you would wear around. I would not clean my bathtub with that jersey. And at least with one that's 2 sizes too small, maybe it becomes a keepsake. Maybe I take it to the game, have some key players sign it, or have the guy whose name on the back sign, and then have it framed, hang it up in my den or something.
Interesting.
I would rather do that than wear an ugly jersey.
Oh, who's giving it to me?
It's Secret Santa. It's a secret. You don't know.
Well,
yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, okay. Well, most Secret Santas I've done, they usually tell you when you're given the gift.
Not on this one.
If we're talking about the 12 out of 10 Jets alternate looking secretary, I'm happy with whatever I get, and I really appreciate it, and I'll wear it to show how thankful I am a couple times until she inevitably ends up getting transferred somewhere else because her kids moved out there, so she wants to be closer to them. That being said, if you're my real buddy, you know not to get me practice jerseys. So you know what? I think this is a better measurement of friendship than anything else.
Karen from accounting is getting a stern talking to after this.
Well, Karen from accounting, I mean...
All right. Ben, fake or authentic, receive a practice jersey instead of your favorite jersey that's 2 sizes too small.
I'm going to go authentic on this one. Think of it from the perspective of the Secret Santa. They got a practice jersey. They clearly don't know anything. So can you imagine it from their perspective that you're the recipient of a jersey that's 2 sizes too small. They're going to feel really bad about themselves, but the practice jersey fits great, then they'll feel good. So for that,
how dare you think about the other person?
Like the rest of you.
Yeah.
What kind of weirdo thinks about the other person?
God.
Christmas is about receiving.
Oh, man. Well, that question got all the responses that I was looking for. That was fantastic. Let's move on to something that hopefully will also strike a chord here. And this stems from the report that the Senators fans are apparently happy with the logo that they currently have versus making any changes, which is hard to believe. But here we go. Senators fans preferring the current logo to any changes is fake news and is just meant to justify the owner's love of the current logo and sweaters. Fake or authentic, Shawn?
That's totally fake because I looked at the numbers. That's only amongst your average, normal, friggin' still thinks Erik Karlsson's on the team fan. The kind of lukewarm fan who buys tickets and doesn't go. I've seen those seats, Ottawa. You're not selling out. You're almost at Carolina levels of fandom. No, the true Ottawa fans, the true degenerates of hockey, really want that O logo. And the numbers don't. The numbers tell you that. Now, me personally, I think what you should do is take those 1997 jerseys, put Ronnie Tugnut back in net, and become a decent team instead of being the jerks you are right now, or relocate to Quebec City.
Interesting plan. I don't know if the 50-year-old goaltender would really work out the way you intended to, but
he's just got to sit there.
Ron Tugnut's not 50, and I'm going to look that.
You look that up and come back with that. All right, TC, fake or authentic on this?
This is an interesting one for me because I want to say it's authentic. I want to say that it's all a big, vast conspiracy theory. But in my heart of hearts, I believe that anyone who is sadomasochistic enough to be an Ottawa Senators fan is just as dumb as to want that as their primary logo.
Interesting take there. Let's go to Ben and see what you think. Ben, fake or authentic?
I'm going to say fake, and not because this is fake news, but it is most certainly fake news. I don't think the owner is in love with the current logo and sweaters. I think he is just a spineless, weak coward that has a complete inability to make decisions and that cannot pull the trigger on anything despite all evidence pointing in favor of changing it, and he can't do it. So that's why this is fake.
I like that take.
Hey, you guys want this alternate? Oh, well, we're going to use it for 3 games 2 years from now.
That's the best Melnick impression I've ever heard. And
Fun fact, Ron Tugnut is 51.
oh!
So also fun fact, Ron Tugnut holds some really, really, really distinct records. He is both the Anaheim Ducks, Ottawa Senators, and I think Pittsburgh Penguins records for save percentages.
Really?
Also still holds the saves in a game record.
Yes, that was
and has the 10th lowest GAA of all time in a single season.
And he shares the last name with the coach of PE on the great Disney show, Even Stevens.
So, Ronnie Tugnut, want to come on the podcast? You know, you're going on 2 of my jerseys. You know, that's an honor only given to, like, Dwayne Rollison, Gary Roberts, and those types. So, you know what? Come on the podcast, and we'll talk about what it's like wearing glasses under a goalie mask. And
Shawn will give you some over the pants hand action.
some heavy petting.
Voice cracks and make it all really awkward. So if you want to do that, Mr. Tugnut, if you want to do that,
hey,
we'll send you an HJC sticker.
The goalie on my beer league team wears glasses under his goalie mask. Thank you very much. And he is
over the pants hand stuff.
That's not appropriate for the change room unless someone says it's okay. All right, that's what we have for you this week here on the Jersey Nerds podcast. Just a reminder that Jersey casual stuff is still for sale on the website. You can go over to hockeyjerseyconcepts.com and click on the shop link, and you'll find everything there. The 2019 All-Star Competition vote is currently going on, and that goes on until Friday, the 21st of December. We'll determine a winner there, and the weekly Concept of the Week vote on the side of the blog as well, and that goes on for, what do we got? We got 3 more of those left, so that's pretty exciting there.
Next, well, you can.
Get in while you can. Next week, we likely will not have an episode for you, just with all the holiday schedules. It's probably not worth the effort of trying to get everyone together to record an episode, to listen to an episode, but we might have something special coming out on our YouTube channel in place of a podcast. So just be heads up on that. After the holiday break, we'll be coming back, and the podcast will be broken up into 3 different podcasts coming out during the week. So the news portion of the podcast will be expanded. It'll be a little bit longer than what we typically do with the news. Maybe we'll throw in a couple extra things. Fake or Authentic will then become its own show, and we'll come up with some more fake or authentic scenarios. Maybe we'll even branch out of the hockey world and may even become a little bit of a would you rather situation. And Throwback Throwdown will also become its own show. And we will do 2 matchups of Throwback Throwdown. And then why not? Let's just take the 2 winners from those matchups and put them against each other. So we may end up with a draft logo going up against a practice jersey in the final of Throwback Throwdown once it becomes its own show. I'd like to thank Ben, TC, and Shawn for joining me this week. We had a really good podcast. And as always, we want to hear what you guys think about what we were talking about. You can get us on Twitter at HockeyJC, or you can email the podcast anytime, podcast@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. Don't forget to download the podcast, share the podcast, like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast. Most importantly, let all your friends know about the podcast. Get the word out there, and we'll get some people listening to this thing and really grow it. We're still on the ground floor here. Still lots of plans in the works and going forward with this podcast, and that really helps us if you share the podcast with your friends and get everyone listening to it. So again, that's what we have for you this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you guys again in 2 weeks with the Jersey Nerds podcast.